Good afternoon, everybody. This is Don again, and it's time for episode 16 of Practical Reality. It is Sunday afternoon, a little after 4, I think, between like 4 and 4:30, and my wife and I lost the extra hour this morning. We woke up at what we thought was 7, and it turned out to be like 8:15 already, and so we had to sort of like scramble around to get things done, and I think it's sort of set me back a little bit today, but no matter. It's actually a beautiful day. But again, it is windy in the park. And so I'm sitting in my car again to do this video. You might wonder why I just don't stay home and do it. And the reason is simple. Out here in the park, there are people walking around and the sights are beautiful and it's more peaceful and I feel more open and more free and more creative. So instead of just staying home and doing this video in a nice, more controlled setting, I choose to come out to the park and stay in my car because I can feel the breeze coming in from outside, and it just makes me feel more alive and more free and more grateful. Something which I will talk about a little bit more in the video a little bit later on. Now, one thing I want to emphasize before I really get into today's topic is the fact that each of these videos, for me, is a project, and I take it upon myself to try and make each one a little bit better each time. Now, some of you who have watched some of the other videos may not think so. Some of you may say, well, you've been here and there and maybe a little bit sketchy on some of the videos, but I'm doing my best to try and make the quality of each video better as we move along. And that is a statement made in the present moment because I have created the space in my mind to realize that this is what I'm thinking about and this is how I want to go about it. Now, I have previously talked about what it means to achieve presence, but I have not spoken about what it means to stay in the present moment. And that is going to be the subject of today's video. Now, in the last video, I spoke about how you cannot possibly be present if you are constantly allowing yourself to be distracted by the external environment. When you do get distracted by the external environment, the solution is to try to bring yourself into the present moment by slowing down, taking some deep breaths, realizing where you are, staying in the present moment, raising your vibrational frequency. And the best vibrational frequency to bring to mind is gratitude. Now, that may seem a little counterintuitive because when you realize you need to bring yourself to the present moment, you may be feeling anything but gratitude because you have been distracted by the external environment. But if you think about it, gratitude is a great frequency to be on because that usually means that you are remembering something wonderful that happened to you. So to summon the feeling of gratitude may be as easy to do as remembering the wonderful event that brought about the feeling of gratitude in the first place. But the skill that you need to develop is to be able to create a feeling of gratitude in your mind and be grateful for the life that you know exists out there in the quantum field that you have not yet experienced in the external environment. And when you can develop that skill, you have then taken the next step in your personal evolution. Now, since the channel is called Practical Reality, we are going to talk about how to make practical use of summoning the feeling of gratitude for the life that you are going to have, which exists in the quantum field, when you get distracted by the external environment. And that external environment takes you out of the present moment. Now, oftentimes, being taken out of the present moment and getting distracted by the external environment means that you enter a reactive state of mind. Someone pisses you off or makes you feel really sad, and it triggers a rush of negative emotion. That is a reactive state of mind by definition. And that rush of emotion that you feel is triggered by the event that has just occurred. But the intensity of that feeling, the intensity of that rush of negative emotions is really triggered by past experience. Past experiences that you have had that are stored in memory and are sort of like piled on top of each other. So the key question then becomes, how are you going to counter that rush of negative emotions? Are you going to waste the rest of your day ruminating on it? Or are you going to step back and take that deep breath and create that space that allows you to realize the situation for what it is and then becomes the present conscious observer that steps away from the present external environment and allows you to step into that peaceful state of mind that allows you to summon that feeling of gratitude within yourself? Now, it is important for you to realize that that rush of negative emotions is a programmed response put in there and kept in place by your ego. And your choice to step away and create that space and find that inner gratitude is the action you take as a conscious observer to act independently of the external environment instead of letting the external environment act upon you. And when you can consistently do that, you will find yourself to be a happier, calmer, and healthier person. Now, is that easy to do? No. I'm not pretending that it is, and I am still learning how to do it, and I still find myself entering reactive states of mind all the time. But knowing that the choice is there, that you can choose to be the conscious observer and enter into that state of gratitude by taking the time to slow down and raise your frequency and take those deep breaths. Anytime the external environment sends you into a reactive state of mind makes all the difference. And you can master that skill if you make that commitment to yourself. Now, I'm going to give you a concrete example. I was talking to a woman the other day, and she was telling me that she had been feeling stressed out all afternoon long because while she was on lunch, one of her coworkers gave her some task to do that she didn't know about, and so she got back to her desk after eating her lunch. And she was surprised to see it, and she realized it was going to take her a long time to solve, and she got angry at the coworker and felt stressed out because she had to hurry through the task, etc., etc. Now, that event caused her to enter into a reactive state of mind, which is a perfectly human reaction. And it's very, very difficult not to do that. But this is the skill I'm talking about developing if you can. If you make that commitment to yourself, to step back and be able to take 2 moments of peace for yourself and then realize the event for what it is. It's not that important. You can solve this problem. You can become a more peaceful person. And I would imagine that she would have been less stressed if she had been able to create that space and take that step to be able to summon that gratitude in her own mind and step away from the external environment before tackling the problem. And when you can develop that habit of doing this consistently enough, you will come to realize that whatever it was that put you into that reactive state in the first place wasn't that big a deal. And if you can consistently realize that over time, then your reaction to such future events will be less intense and less dramatic. And therefore you will enter, again, as I said before, enter into a new personal state of evolution where you will be calmer and happier and less stressed out and more grateful, because that feeling of gratitude will help you stay in the present moment. And when you can do that on a regular basis, then you will see changes in your life that are positive. I thank you all for listening to this video. Please comment, like, subscribe, feedback. I love it all. This is Don, episode 16 of Practical Reality. Have yourself a great Sunday.